Hello and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about the true meaning of true fan and the meaning of followers. So in this video, I want you to pay attention, stay to the end of this video so that you understand what we are actually building from this video. And I bet you will learn one or two things. So let's get into it. So there is a number on your profile right now. Maybe it's a few thousand, maybe it's climbing towards six figures. Maybe you're checking them or checking it more than you like to admit, like you're checking your followers grow, comparing it to the last month, wondering why it's not growing fast. That's your followers count. So I want to offer you something that might be a little bit uncomfortable to sit. Not because it's fake, not because it's entirely meaningless, but because it measures something much shallower than what you actually need to build something that lasts. There is a metric, one that doesn't live on any public dashboard and doesn't get celebrated in a way followers might some do, but is the one that almost every time predicts whether a creative career is still standing 5 years from now or whether it's quietly going to run out of steam within 2 to 5 months. Now that's called a true fan. So in this video, I want to go into what that actually means, not the version that you probably skim in a Twitter trend, the real mechanism behind it, why the gap between followers and a true fan is wider than most people realize, and what specifically you can do starting this week now to start more of the kind of audience that actually sustain something different from what you've been doing. So let's get into it. So what is a true fan? According to Kevin Kelly, he wrote about it I think in 2026. He was a founding editor of Wired. Now he was straightforward about the definition. What was the definition? He said a true fan is somebody or someone who will buy anything that you produce. Well, that's a good thing. That's kind of a useful starting point. But the creator economy has changed enough in the past 15 years, and I think it's worth updating that definition also. In 2026, a true fan is somebody who actively seeks out your content, not somebody who stumbled across it in a feed. You understand? Now, somebody or someone who deliberately goes looking for it. They type in your name in the search bar, they open your newsletter any moment it arrives in their mail or wherever you send it. When they open YouTube, they actually go to your channel and then click subscribe or whatever, to see what you have inside your channel. That's what the meaning of true fan. They also say a true fan tells specific people about your work, not a virtue shared to them on their timeline, a direct message to a particular person with a note that says, you need to see this. That's the kind of recommendation, a person to person recommendation, a specific recommendation for a specific reason. It's the most valuable form of word to mouth that has ever existed. I will also say a true fan would notice you if you actually stop. Think about it. If you went quiet for a month, they wonder, where did he go or where did she go? If you announce that you're actually quitting, they'll feel something about that decision. That's what emotional investment means. Like, the relationship, and that kind of relationship cannot be manufactured or cannot even be rushed. I will also say this: a true fan is willing to exchange real value for what you create. Not necessarily a lot, not necessarily immediately, but they are willing to invest in whatever that you have. Like for example, you're selling a course, you're selling a book, or a membership, or you're selling a ticket to any event. The willingness to pay is the clearest signal possible. That they've internalized the real value from what you do. Now, here is what makes this relationship so disproportionately important. It compounds. A true fan who tells five people about your work, and two of those people becomes your true fan, who tells other people about your work. That's a referral network growing geometrically. A follower who double taps and scroll past, your feed or your content contributes nothing to that network. Absolutely nothing. Now, pay attention to this. A community of true fans creates a social proof that draws in more true fans. Their engagement sends a signal to algorithm that your content deserves a wider distribution. Now, their advocacy reaches room that you have never gotten into on your own. So it's very, very important to have a true fan. Now, 500 true fans will almost always outperform 50,000 passive followers in revenue, in community health, in the kind of long-term creative sustainability that most creators quietly desperate for. But rarely we talk about it, because what is followers when you don't have a true fan that actually engages in your content, and push your content to other followers and other audience. Why this matters more right now is the distinction between followers and true fan has always mattered so much. But a few structural shifts in the past couple of years have made it more urgent, genuinely, particularly right now urgent. The first thing is algorithmic reach. The algorithmic reach has coupled from follower count already. So you need to understand this. Visually, every major platforms, the relationship between how many followers you have and how many people your content actually reaches has weakened significantly. Instagram posts are reaching 3 to 8% of their creators' followers, or follower base, which is originally or organically normal. Now, YouTube videos from well-established channel, dramatically underperform their subscriber count when retention signals are very weak. Now, what the algorithm are consistently rewarding across every platform are the signal that indicates genuine interest, completion rate, saves, and probably shares. Direct messages is also important, and the most important one is the return visit of a particular person or people. These signals are overwhelmingly generated by true fans, not passive followers. Now, platforms has effectively shifted to measuring what should have been measured all along, but they didn't just announce it. The second shift is platform risk. Audience, build purely on single social platforms are fragile. Algorithms change without warning. That is the fact. Organic reach collapses. Platform face regulation or decline. Uh, we have seen all of this, happen in recent years, and it will definitely happen again. Now, true fans who moves into your channel, either your email list, your community platform, your subscriptions, represents a direct line that doesn't depend on any algorithm. Followers are retained from it, and they exist on platform terms, not yours. So, true fan also converted to your own channel are genuinely yours. There's no two ways about it. This part is the part that I want to spend most of my time on, because understanding the mechanism is what makes everything else actionable. The journey from follower to true fans, always move through four stages, almost four stages. Not always in a straight line, but consistently through the same sequence. Now, I'm going to walk you through the stages one by one. So pay attention. Stage one is the recognition moments. Now, this is a specific piece of content that makes someone feels like, it was actually made for them. If you check my previous video that I dropped about um, fans and followers, I mentioned about this. So if you want, go back to the previous video and then you understand what I mean. So the content that makes you feel this is actually made for me, not for general audience, made for me. Exactly. It comes from a radical specificity. You understand? You can't manufacture it for everyone. You can create it by going deep enough on a particular problem or a worldview and a language of very defined type of person that everyone else barely notice. And the right people feel genuinely seen, probably for the first time. This content rarely performs best by rich metrics. It's often quieter, more specific, more personal, but it is the content that turns curious onlookers into, invested audience members. Now, stage two. Now the stage two is the debt recovery. Now, after you have been recognized, let's say the recognition moment, the potential true fans looks for more. They, visit your channel, they visit your profile, your website. What they find there determines whether the relationship grows or ends at that moment. A consistent content achieved, a work of body with real depth, and ideally a clear recommendation for where to start. Actually convert that person visiting your profile, into something that lasts. While a scattered or shallow archive loses that potential true fan, no matter how strong that first piece of content was, it's definitely going to discourage a lot of people visiting your profile. Now, your archive is not a passive collection. It's an active conversion mechanism. Then treat it in that manner. Treat it that way. Stage three is that connection experience, a moment where the creator acknowledges the fan as an individual, not as part of audience aggregate. A genuine specific reply to a comment, a response to an email that actually addresses what the person said, rather than sending a template, a piece of content that directly answers a question they asked publicly. Now, I will tell you this: this interaction carries weight, completely out of proportion to their sizes, because they are very, very rare. Most creators they don't do this systematically. The ones who do, build fans at a measurably different rate. Stage four is, the value exchange. When a follower makes, their first voluntary payment, something psychologically shifts. They've invested in relationship beyond just their time. They have skin in the game now, and almost universally, right? That first payment deepens relationship rather than concluding it. The important thing to understand here, is this almost never happens from cold traffic through a direct speech. It happens after a period of accumulated free value that has built genuine trust. Now, if your paid conversion is low, the answer is almost never better sales copy. And it's almost always more specific, more consistent, or more genuinely useful free content delivery to the right people over the long period of time. Now, measuring what actually matters. So, if follower count is the wrong thing to track, what should you actually be watching out for? I'll tell you this. Number one, return visit rate is very important. The percentage of your audience coming back without being prompted by an algorithmic server. A rising return visits rate is one of the clearest early indicator that true fans are accumulating. Most analytic tools give you this. Now, another thing, email open rate and reply rate is very important. Now, open rates tells you who is voluntarily engaging with your direct communication. Now, reply rate is who is actually moved enough to write back. Now, is an even stronger signal. Yes, it's an actual stronger signal. Now, the ratio of reply to open tells you more about fans development than almost any social metrics. Direct traffic percentage, people who types your URL directly or arrives, via a saved bookmark are demonstrating, intentional engagement. Watch these numbers. It grows as your true fans base also grows. Now, another important thing is the comment quality, not the quantity. Quality over quantity. Generic comments are followers' behavior. You know that already. Now, some sensitive comments that engages or engaged with the specific content, share personal context of personal thinking, personal ideas, follow up with questions are also a true fan's behavior. Now, read your comments quantitatively. They, tell you more than counting them ever will. And for creators with paid offerings, content to conversion rate, which specific piece of free content lead almost directly to purchase? That tells you, what your true fans value the most and what should anchor your creative direction going towards. Okay, now I want to leave you with something that I genuinely believe in, right? And I think is worth sitting with after this video is over. A creator who are still building 10 years from now are almost never the ones who accumulate the largest followers or largest following. They are the ones who understand earlier than that a relationship is worth more than a count. That depth compounds in a way that riches never does. Now, followers come and go with algorithm, but true fans are the foundation. Here is the truth. The shift from optimizing for follower growth to genuinely building true fan relationship is uncomfortable at first. The numbers look smaller for a while, but I'll show you a high quality email list for 3,000 people looks less impressive than Instagram following of 80,000. There is no public milestone post for it, but those 3,000 will show up. They will convert. They will tell people the 80,000 never will. Now, start with the metrics that actually indicates fans development, return visits, email engagement, comment quality, direct traffic, build experiences that moves people through the journey. Recognition moments, a deep and consistent content archive, a real direct connection. And if you're looking for a platform specifically designed to help you reach audience who are already genuinely interested in what you're creating, yeah, rather than just hoping that the algorithm decide to, show your content to the right people, the link is in my description below. No pressure, but I think it's worth knowing. Trust me, the followers will always feel tempted to chase, but the true fans are what actually build something. See you in the next video.